perfectly fine to do panty raids. He would just break into women's like rooms and steal their underwear and wear them on their heads like a bunch of fucking like they're in the Bilderberg group.
That's right. Which of course Alex Jones he's yelling at them.
Put his foot down.
There's a great video there that perhaps we can post on the page. But yeah, so he had 856 pairs of panties, and that's what people kept on saying, like, innocent fun, innocent fun.
That's not innocent fun. Just stealing somebody's panties.
And he would jack off on their pillows. But that reminded me of what you were saying there. He would go in. That is an ultimate high to be, laundry. Anyway, I get a friend from Dave, a phone call from a friend,
believe
Dave
me, the
Taylor.
Chinese people that take my laundry are hard for it.
Oh yeah, they love it.
Love it.
Oh, they can't wait to sniff it.
God, they're just like, I walk in there and I'm like, it's like, are you wearing my underwear as a hat? And they're like, oh, thank you. And like, I give them money. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens. But Dave called me, of course, and he's a great fan of the Round Table, and he's made the Round Table images.
Graphics. He's an incredible graphic designer.
Anthony Schofield, anyway, he got picked up on Craigslist trying to fuck a 13-year-old.
Wow.
And of course, he went on Craigslist, was like, man, seeking 13-year-old, hey, let's meet up. And then somebody was like, meet me at this gas station. That person was with the FBI.
Was a police officer.
Yeah, because no 13-year-old is like, yeah, disgusting old man. I'd love to fuck
put it on Craigslist open out. It's like, that's ludicrous.
That's right. So this this is part of the escalation for Ramirez.
Well, now what do you do? Because this 12-year-old, he like put him in another room,
put him in a
and
closet.
Raped his mother, right?
Yeah, put him in a room,
but he did nothing to the kid.
And he does the exact same thing with his next victim, Carol Kyle.
Did he kill the woman?
He did not kill the woman.
So this is we have double rapes in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And the next one, Carol Kyle, she described him as good looking, and said that he smelled like wet leather.
What?
This woman has strange taste in men. Can we agree with that?
Wet leather?
I never smelled wet leather. I don't want to.
Sounds like cowboy erotica. And then an old Jeb rolled over, smelling like wet leather and smoking papers. And he took off that big shiny belt buckle and took out that cow knuckle of his.
Oh,
and
that's
I went to
great.
town on it, and I never knew a better day of being sheriff.
Oh, that is hot erotica.
Gay sheriff porn.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ladies just listening to it on an iPod while they ride the horse around town. Seems like Susan's coming all over the top of that horse. 50 Shades of Hot Leather.
So what's next? I had a question. What are the time incidents?
They start getting closer and closer.
Yeah, so it's about a week in between each one,
It's starting
right?
to get a week in between, a couple, sometime about 2 to 3 weeks in between.
And previously it was about a month span or so?
Yeah, between the first and second, it was 8 months.
It was 8 months.
And then it's like all these guys, it just keeps...
This is a typical rage mode. He's
starting to slide into what we see with Dahmer, and I'll say where he becomes, he's totally raging out. He's going on a fucking...
It's like, so after you break up with your girlfriend who you had for 5 years, you have sex with one girl, and then like 9 months later you have sex with another girl, but then you start to hit your stride and you fuck all the pussy.
Are you talking about yourself?
I don't know. It doesn't matter, but it seems similar.
It's at this point in which Richard Ramirez, like many other serial killers, almost gets caught, but through the bumbling of the LAPD, goes away scot-free. He was having a real bad night. First, he tries breaking into a house, but sees that the man is awake and is cleaning a gun. So he gets away from there.
Yes.
He decides he's just going to kidnap a girl out in Eagle. Screaming, someone calls the police. He has to run away from there. Then he runs a red light. Remember, Richard Ramirez always drove stolen cars.
Yeah.
He was a big car thief.
Yeah, he loves stealing cars. Everything, because also, like, that was a part of his evasion technique, is that you never knew what car he was driving.
Yeah.
Like, he drove, like, during this whole process, he drove, like, 5 or 6 different cars.
Yeah. And the cop, despite hearing... just a few moments earlier, the description of the suspect that had tried to kidnap the little girl, and despite the fact that Richard Ramirez was driving a stolen car, just didn't put the two events together. And in fact, the cop asked him, "Hey, you're not the guy killing people in their homes, are you?"
Oh my God!
What a funny joke.
And Richard Ramirez says, "No way, man. When you guys gonna catch that motherfucker anyway?"
Yeah. God damn.
Oh, so when did that cop marry Courtney Cox? Because he sounds like David Arquette from Scream. He is a Deputy Dewey if I've ever heard of a goddamn Deputy guy that we should be looking for.
Not at all, and he's like takes it out. He says, so you're just gonna need to want to sign this ticket here, and he like takes a knife covered in blood and signs it like he's fucking Vincent Price.
That is
like,
funny.
Oh, that's a funny souvenir and pen you got there. Where'd you get that from? Some kind of museum in a macabre? And he's like, no, I killed a woman with it.
Now this has been
Get
one of my
outta
favorite
here.
traffic stops I've ever had. I'm
This
laughing.
car's not even yours, is it? No way, no, man. It's not even remotely my car. It's like, you're hilarious. Get out of here. If I could just meet 9 of you a day, my job would be a lot easier, Mr. Your name is Mr. Kyoto? This is this ID. This is an old ID. Is this from 1965?
As the cop goes
that
back,
movie Gone in 60 Seconds would have been much better if it was based on Richard Ramirez.
I mean, it would have been a lot. It would have gotten a hard R rating.
Definitely.
That's for
Double
certain.
R
Yeah.
for Richard Ramirez.
So the cop goes back to his motorcycle to call it in. Richard Ramirez gets out of the car, and the cop doesn't notice this either, that Richard gets him on the hood of the car and scampers off into the night.
This is a real story.
This is a real story,
Yeah.
yeah.
And this officer, does he still work in the LAPD? Is he Christopher Dorner? I mean, who the fuck is this idiot? How do you have a job?
Can you imagine though? That's like, but you could see how it feeds into his idea that Satan is really helping him now. Because they talk about this, it's like I bet he really has now. He believes that black magic is making him invisible.
Yeah.
Like he's
Right.
because he keeps incorporating, because now we see more and more satanic imagery come into each one of these killings. He obviously thinks he's being protected.
What do you think about his Satanism and as far as his religion goes?
I think
Because-
it's an elemental Satanism. It's a primitive Satanism. It's like it's
Right.
not like I'm gonna wear pewter rings and meet girls at a party Satanism. It's like he
Right.
believes that he is a demon and he is doing demons' work. It's like like fucking House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
So, do you think? I mean, Richard Ramirez. I mean, we're reading the Damien Eccles book, and he was basically convicted because people had this insane idea of Satanism, and
his
he
name was
wasn't even a
Damien.
Satanist. He just liked
Yeah.
to research things and learn. But do you think that Richard Ramirez's version of Satanism was the one that was sort of the overall narrative that America took as far as to represent everyone who was a secular humanist? I mean, we interviewed Shane Morton, of course. You met from
absolutely.
Pretty Face
That
and-
was where the idea of devil worshiper came from. They say devil worshippers do this, and that. But actually, it's Satanism is just essentially it's a term for secular humanism or atheism. That's all it is. It's a funnier thing to do than say you're an atheist.
Right. No one likes to hear an atheist talk.
Atheists suck. It's like, but it's Satanist is fun. This is a guy that was like, if I were like the thing that pops in my head, it's like someone like Vlad Dracul, like the guy that like Dracula was based off of. Like this is a different bloodline. This is a different strain of thought. This is I'm literally doing things for what I believe is a higher. I believe I'm moving with energy, doing the things that I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a
like-
witch. He's like it's old timey. It's like
So he's
supervillainy.
just really taking the superstitions of the culture and just like putting them into actual practice.
Yeah, because it makes it so much scarier. It's like what Batman did, dressing up like Batman. It makes you super scared. It makes you
It's
so
terrifying.
much scarier to draw a pentagram on something.
And you can imagine how much scarier Batman would have been if he had Down syndrome.
See, this,
Imagine where's that Dark Knight
someone
series?
shouldn't have given that retarded man that grappling hook.
Very interesting because you only see the
Just fucking
mouth.
smashing through hotel signs. It's like,
That would be an interesting
just-
comic. That'll have to get made. Anyway, so he drew the pentagram. The cop just drove on and went about his business harassing black kids or something.
Yep, and he returns to murder just a couple days later with Patty Higgins. He slits her throat in another stalker attack. He goes into the house of Mary Cannon. He grandmother. She was 75 years old. He beat her unconscious with a lamp and then stabbed her with a 10-inch butter knife.
A butter knife.
A butter knife.
That is by
fucking horrible.
definition that's not supposed to go through meat.
No, it's supposed to go through soft things like butter.
How hard do you have to stab somebody to go
Like
in
real hard.
real hard, exceptionally
Like
hard?
very hard. Yeah, you have
Avia
to, like,
sneakers.
really
Only
want
with
it.
your Avia sneakers can you stab a woman with a butter knife.
And speaking of Avia sneakers, one of his next victims, Joyce Nelson,
How
he
many
stomped her to death with his Avia sneakers. And the sneaker print that he left was one of the things that helped them connect that crime to the overall
On
Night
her
Stalker narrative.
face. The
On her
print was
face.
on her
The
face.
print was on her face.
You see, this is so he is getting more and more brutal. The
Yes.
timing between each one is now days, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like days go by. It's like it's no longer weeks. He's having no cool down periods. He's just fucking barreling through.
And what-
is this before? And these are also all in different neighborhoods of LA.
Yeah,
too.
one was in Arcadia, one was in. His murders in Los Angeles happened within a 40-mile radius.
But
That's
there
a
was
pretty
a-
big radius, though, isn't it?
That's
Yeah, because
huge.
that's what they realized. The thing it's like for a while, I believe one of his names also they called him the Freeway Killer or something. It's like because they were talking about how like because LA becomes this perfect place to be a fucking mass killer because you got the highway system is right there, and you just pop on a highway, you zip, and you're on the other side of the city, and then you go back and forth. You could be in 10 different places at once if there's no traffic.
Yeah.
Or God forbid you get that 405 at 5 o'clock.
You imagine? I would love to see Richard Ramirez upset in traffic, be like, "I gotta kill that old woman, and this motherfucking traffic jam is fucking with my plans."
Yeah, this guy would have been a
I
fucking...
knew I should have taken the 101.
Oh, God.
So dumb, Richie. You're so dumb, Richie. Sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like Richie could have been like a great poster boy for Google Maps.
Absolutely.
And their like traffic app, you know? And it's just like, I know when I got to kill a 7-year-old in Glendale, but I got to be back and to kill a 9-year-old over in Skid Row. I'm watching my Google Maps traffic app.
How many kills? I feel like we've burned through so many. Where are we at now? Are we at 11 or 10?
I think we're somewhere around 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Eight or 9 somewhere. I haven't been keeping track exactly because it does all kind of
Yeah,
blur
because it
together.
blends together. Because these
Yeah.
are because then we have. Is this when he left town for the first time when he goes up to San Francisco?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, he started between June
And so,
June
I'm sorry,
27th.
just to stop you, what was the media like here at this time?
Nuts.
So they knew that he was the
Was he
night. Was he?
called-
He wasn't called the Night Stalker
wasn't,
yet.
okay.
No. He wasn't called the Night
So he
Stalker
wasn't
yet.
officially branded yet.
No, well, they
but
had other
people-
names for him. They had the Walk-In Killer,
Right.
the Valley
Screen door intruder, yeah.
The worst
Screen
name
door
ever.
intruder. Yeah.
Okay, so there was a lot of buzz about him right now.
Oh, yeah. People, in fact, people all over Los Angeles, like gun sales shot up. People had axes next to their beds.
And they were saying
had
too,
tire irons.
it was an incredibly hot summer.
Yeah.
and so
That's right.
But everyone would keep their windows shut, so all of LA was shut down for the summer. Kind of what happened during the zebra killings, where it was like everyone stopped going places. The city was. People were staying inside. And guard dogs was like it was like this crazy huge run on guard dogs being sold as well.
Which of course led to the Michael Vick dog fighting ring.
Did it?
There's a lot of pit bulls. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I mean, for all intents and
this
purposes,
is a long
lot
time
of pit bulls
ago.
were bought for home protection.
Yeah, but
then,
I think that they were
Well, okay, it was
tortured to death by football players. Like not
one
all
football
of them.
player.
No, a bunch of them. Him
Yeah.
and his boys all tortured dogs to death.
And the comedy rolls on. Okay. So everyone knows what's going on in the neighborhood, and he has a chilling effect. It's very Summer of Sam-esque. People are changing their behaviors. Okay, so continue on.
Yeah, June 27th, Patty Higgins. July 2nd, Mary Cannon. July 5th, Whitney Bennett, a 16-year-old girl. He breaks into the house. He doesn't.
This is a fucked up story.
Did you say 16?
Dude,
16.
This is set this up. And so that night is the parents were asleep. The parents were home asleep when he breaks into the house and sees her sleep on the head with a tire iron. And then he rapes her and then leaves.
Now, the
And
old
your
Texas alarm clock, huh? That's when you hit somebody. That's the Texas alarm clock. It's when you hit somebody on the head with a tire iron to wake them up to milk the goddamn cows. Well, I'm not making this up. Why am I being demonized? I'm not making this up. That's a reality. That's the reality.
Sure. No, you can call it anything you want.
Of course. I grew up in Texas.
And
That's
you
how
understand it.
I got woken up every morning.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Your
Marcus.
dad would come in and hit you with a tire iron, rape you, leave you in a pile of blood, and then you'd go shuck the chickens and fucking feed the pigeons.
My dad used to wake me up by singing to me, "Good morning, good morning."
That's so sweet.
That's
you see,
very
the
sweet.
opposite of how she was woken up.
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Okay,
that's the
I'm
true
sorry.
Texas alarm clock. We're very kind people, Ben.
Well, I think that this woman got off easy compared to how you had to live. That sounds awful. Mr. Parks singing good morning, with a rock hard morning bone. You never know.
I know.
Yeah, you do know.
Okay, you get that with a tire iron.
She had to get 478 stitches to block up the lacerations.
Yeah, and she didn't
on her
remember
head.
any of those cheerleading formations anymore either.
It's very difficult.
No.
But so he killed the first two before that you mentioned that you just burned through. He killed them, right?
Yeah, he killed Patty Higgins,
And how
Harry
did he-
Cannon, Whitney Bennett. He did not kill.
So he killed these two gals, and then he went to rape another one, but he did not kill her.
No, he didn't kill her. That
No,
was
he just attacked her while her parents were asleep in the other room.
And then she was able to give. I mean, so she knew what he looked like. Again, going back to your previous statement on the first episode about it, if he would have just worn a mask, he would have gotten away with it for years.
Yeah, he really would have. I mean,
And what,
there was
what kind of ego does that have? What kind of ego do you have
just
to have?
didn't care.
he just didn't care.
Just
because
didn't care.
That's what I really believe. He believed he was fueled by satanic magic. I think like this is the real. We were talking about this like
He
I
felt like
think the
he
fucked
was
up
like
thing-
Frodo putting the ring on in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He felt invisible like that.
We were talking about like how there's another bad analogy. How like BTK was like a dude. He was like a corporate serial killer. Like he did everything right.
Yes, he
And
did.
he did the thing to make everybody scared, but he kind of never really had that. He was always kind of fake. He was doing it a little too on purpose. He was trying too hard.
He was putty,
Richard
like,
Ramirez is like Zeppelin. Like he's like the real deal. Like you show up and you see it's like
He's the difference between Bill Hicks and Dennis Leary.
Yes.
Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
You know, Too Cool for Cancer, whatever that fucking bullshit special was just a ripoff of Bill Hicks' legitimate
Richard
death from
Ramirez
cancer.
was fucking evil incarnate.
Yeah.
Like he was an unstoppable force for a while, and he is a fucking monster. And he got to die of natural causes in jail.
54 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
They
right.
did.
So-
Lymphoma.
Fucking
and it takes him all. I was actually just at the bar here at the Creek in the Cave discussing how he needs to be the spokesperson for cancer research.
Yeah,
We gotta stamp out lymphoma. Just have a picture of Ramirez, and you just see the profits plummet. No one cares anymore because apparently cancer kills some people that need to die.
Yeah.
which is
He was
something
never
not a
going
lot.
to die. He was always going to die. in
Yeah,
prison.
absolutely.
We'll get to his appeals process
Yes.
later. Next break-in is one of his most brutal. This one is
Okay.
fucking awful. It's this Vietnamese couple, Chainarong Covenant and Somkin Covenant.
All
These
right.
are hard names.
No, but I think Marcus nailed it.
Yeah,
sure. That was good.
Covenant.
I feel like you could say anything, and I have to say yes because I don't understand. I don't understand how they pronounce their names.
Yeah,
So he killed the husband right off.
of
Yeah,
course.
Yeah, he used a 25 caliber handgun. He used 4 different kinds of handguns during all this. 25
he
caliber,
used
22.
everything.
Yeah.
When he killed those girls that you just sort of brushed over, did he shoot them with a gun as
I
well?
believe he stabbed one and shot the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was mixing it up constantly.
All over the place. So he shoots the husband, he takes the wife, he rapes her, he finds the couple's 8-year-old son and rapes him with
he
a
rapes
bottle of baby oil.
Yeah.
Whoa, what
he's-
happened now?
This is also
Here we go.
this is what's insane.
whoa, what happened?
No, but I mean, he's never done anything with a child, especially of a
Yes, he has.
boy. I
Technically
mean, the
did.
girl,
No,
the 9-year-old girl.
oh,
Yes,
yeah,
but I mean, this is a 8-year-old boy. I mean,
It's not about. It's about how evil you can be. Because this was the one where he made her scream "Hail Satan."
Well, the one before this, actually, Sophie Dickman, that was the first one, at least that we know of, that he started saying, swear to Satan, swear to
Yeah,
Satan.
like
Okay.
tying him up and being like, "Say Hail Satan or I'll kill you." Hail Satan.
I mean,
You're
either
a
way, I'm gonna
whore
kill
for
you.
Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while he raped the kid with the baby oil.
Uh,
I'm sure he's fine now.
Oh, he loves it. I mean,
yeah,
hates
I'm
baby
sure, yeah.
oil. Hates baby oil.
Yeah,
But-
and so this is what the wife said that Richard Ramirez said.
Can't even walk through the bathroom aisle of the CVS.
Any sort of oil-related things. You know, that's just a tragedy.
Taking a massage.
Yeah.
God.
Anyway,
Here's the dialogue from this is from the witness statement. Where's the money? No money, no money. I swear to God. No, swear to Satan. And then he raped her again and left.
Yeah.
She said, this is her statement about Richard Ramirez. This is fucking chilling. She said, he is dangerous beyond words. So brutal, so mean, so cruel. His eyes were like an animal's, not human.
did she mention his hair? That's, wonderful
Beautiful hair, though.
Yeah.
But she had to, because this is the first time that they really start putting together a composite of Richard Ramirez.
And how is it taking this long? I feel
don't
like
know.
he is
Because you're
doing-
saying this is because the different counties don't talk, they don't
That's right.
communicate.
Yeah.
So like they're letting the crime is spreading everywhere, and everyone's claiming each section of the killers to themselves and be
Right.
like, "This is our Night Stalker murder. That's yours." And it's like eventually like. They
It's
have
just
to
so
be
funny.
like,
It's
well,
almost
fuck
like
it.
putting together Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
They're like, I got the leg piece and you got the arm piece,
Yeah.
but like no one gets together and actually makes the beast.
Well, there was one guy who tried to bring it all together, and in fact, this is the same Gary Ridgway, and the reason why Gary Ridgway was able to operate for so long was because of that exact same
shit.
LAPD not being able to work together.
What a corrupt bunch of motherfuckers.
It's so ridiculously
LAPD
dumb.
is just filled with the worst. Like when Dorner popped off, I read his manifesto and I was like, I kind of get why you're fucking mad, dude. Like I understand.
For those that don't know, Christopher Dorno, it was, what was that, about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, we
Maybe
covered it
less.
in the last podcast. Yeah.
And Google that story, Christopher Dorner, very interesting. So the LAPD is just messing up and completely validating Ramirez's belief that he's above the law and can get away with anything.
That is until Frank Salerno comes
This
along.
guy's a fucking hero.
Okay.
This guy is like the real
Super
deal.
cop.
Super cop. He tirelessly works. There's a story we'll get to when we like one of these later murders that just shows it's like these crimes were always on his mind. He did everything in his power, and when you watch interviews with him, he took it so fucking personally. Like even just him talking about being with his daughter is, Daddy, when you gonna catch the bad man? And it's like, and as he was like talking about that, like tears are streaming down his face because he's just the real deal.
Is it on par with the detective from the Jeffrey Dahmer files? Is it on par with
That guy
man?
was more of he got the case flopped on his lap.
Yeah.
Right.
This was a guy who had to go and pick up all the different strands and tie them all together.
And so
the
Frank
Dahmer
was-
was just the fucking septic tank ran out, and they were like, "Oh my god, this thing is in the water," you know, like and then someone calls the police, and then all of a sudden you're the guy who cracked the Jeffrey Dahmer case because you have to go like sweep up humans' fingers for fucking 5 days.
It turns out the pervert did it.
They said he seemed pretty nice when we got him in the office there, but he had some fingernails stuck in his mustache here.
Yeah, wouldn't you believe it? And if you're a cop or if you're a detective out there, just a little quick piece of advice. It's always the white guy in the all-black apartment building. It just always is. There's no doubt about it. That white guy is hiding from something.
Yeah.
Frank Salerno, we'll get more into his involvement as we go on.
Yes.
But he is an absolute super cop. He's the guy that first starts putting together the footprints.
Yeah.
He starts putting together the pentagram stuff. He goes to certain cult halls in Los Angeles and does, in fact, find the same footprint in one of the cult halls is what they
Is
call
it like
them.
a Skid Row type
Yeah,
thing?
kind of. One of them was in East L.A.
But
so
he started putting it together and like being like they had a vague description of him, and he'd start going down to Skid Row and asking people because Richard Ramirez was such a drug addict.
Yeah.
All the addicts knew him, and they're all like, "Oh, you mean the really scary dude with the piercing black eyes who barely says anything, and he's being wickedly addicted to cocaine? Oh,
That's
you
the
mean
one.
Richie?"
Richie, yeah.
the next murder is
So this detective Frank, so he got a name at this point.
what?
Not yet,
Richard
not yet,
Ramirez?
yeah.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
But no, he's just started putting the people had said they'd seen this dude.
Right.
They kind of knew who the dude was. They knew who they were looking for. They were looking for a rangy dude with long black
sorta.
hair. Like we're kind of looking for that, but that's half of L.A.
yeah, I mean, you just described Antonio Banderas, a very attractive man.
The next murders, this would be Max and Leela Needing. He switches it up again. He brings his own machete this time.
BYOM, huh?
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. It's at this point, it's like he's slowly turning into the guy who brings his own pool cue to the billiards place.
By the way, there is nothing sadder than watching somebody think he's being super cool by bringing his own billiard pool to his own stick.
Anybody down for a game of round table ball? That's what I call pool.
Yeah, I'm not going to play with you because you're taking this very seriously. I'm drunk off my ass, because I'm here to watch football.
Anybody want to play some pinochle? You are hammered, and you've somehow screwed that in backwards.
So he brings a machete to this Needing house.
hacks these people up in their beds, and then just shoots them both in the head and leaves.
And no sexual assault in this
Yeah,
one.
no sexual assault. He just cuts them up, shoots them in the head, robs the house, and then goes back and cuts them up some more.
Is the only theme here robbery?
That's
Does
the
he
only. It's always
is
breaking and entering.
It's always breaking and entering, but is it always robbery as well?
Not
Yes.
always.
I mean, he's taking something.
Yeah, he
from
does take. Well, one of the people that eventually, when they were closing the net in on him, they talked to his fence, and they were able to match a lot of the stolen objects that Richard Ramirez had sold to this guy with the missing objects from the people's houses.
Yeah, because he's still got to pay his rent. He's still got to pay his utilities. And he's still probably renting movies and doing stuff every once in a while. You know, you got to have some fucking pocket cash.
It must be weird for a landlord to get paid in blood-covered diamonds or like blood-covered necklaces and shit like that, you know?
Just a woman's scalp.
Yeah, that's...
Is this money? No, Ricky, no, Ricky, you need the money. Everyone's so scared of him, you know?
Next up, these are the only people that were able to fight back. Annis and Virginia Peterson, 36 and 27.
Really young because they're young.
Yeah, because they're young.
Yeah.
He shoots both of them. He shoots the woman in the face. He shoots the guy in the temple. They were still able to fight him off, and he got the fuck out of there. As soon as they started fighting
did they
back,
live?
They both lived, yeah.
We were talking
and
about...
they were able to give like a very good description of him. So the description is getting more, and the composite sketch is getting more and more detailed.
I just feel like, why isn't this, like, cut and dry overnight you catch this dude?
Because
they didn't know who he was.
Los Angeles,
everyone is giving the same description. Beautiful hair, Hispanic man with terrible breath.
Los Angeles is massive. It is a massive spread out city. There's so many people. It's like, honestly, it's like New York. As soon as, like, my dad, they talk about it in the show 48 Hours, where it's just like, especially in a place like New York, like, in the suburbs, in the country, like, someone will be like, yeah, I saw him over there. Like, someone will, like, they know when, like, if there's sparse people, you can, like, go someplace. You're noticeable when you're traveling. And get on the subway.
Unless you're 6'7" with red hair,
yeah.
Like myself.
Yeah, which is why you'd have to dress up like a fucking leprechaun in order to be the Leprechaun Massacre Man.
Oh, that would be amazing. The Leprechaun Massacre Man. Yeah, so he just blended in with society in LA. Okay.
Yeah. The next one up, Elias Abawath. He, of course, made her swear to Satan throughout the entire rape. Swear to Satan, swear to Satan. This is the first time after this one he is finally dubbed the Night Stalker.
Yeah, and it's like, and I feel like that's what he, you know, it's that fucked up thing of like when Peyton finally got the ring. Like he's finally got like that fucking, like, you know, you got the validation that he wanted.
Validates his legacy. So now he has everything he's ever wanted. He's gone on every crime spree.
Which is probably why he knows it's just a matter of time before he's caught. All these guys know it's just a matter of time before they're caught.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
just
it
play
seems
it out.
to me like he is living in a complete fantasy world where he assumes that he will never be caught.
I mean, he hopes probably because he's having too much fun.
Mm-hmm. He's having a great time. You know, I mean, he does seem to be legitimately having a good time. Dahmer
tortured.
Gary Ridgway, going back to the Green River Killer, who has I mean, I would suggest him for the next big hitter.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I don't think that he had a wonderful time. I don't think BTK had a great time.
No, BTK actually did have a good time.
Yeah.
But
he was being punny, but he
was
also
just
lived
too much of a
mundane.
dickhead to have a good time.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
he couldn't enjoy himself even when he was doing what he loved.
That's sad. Isn't that? You know, if you can't enjoy doing what you love, even if doing what you love means breaking into the Otero house and killing a family, then
coming all over the daughter. If you can't enjoy yourself,
it ain't
living your life like you want to live it. I mean, I don't know. You know, I feel bad for those people.
I'll tell you. You know,
I feel bad for them.
I used to think this was a horror comedy podcast, but now I know it's an inspirational podcast, and that's what's so important. If you
man,
do
YOLO.
Yeah, well, yeah, you only Yoko, you only kill once, something like that, or 13, 14, 16, 17 times.
It's at this point when he's given the name Night Stalker. Calls a press conference and really says like, all right, there's this guy. He's killed 10 people. No, he's killed 12 people at this point, 11 or 12. We can link all these murders to him. Lock your fucking doors. Buy a weapon.
That's where Frank Stallone finally came out and he like put it basically because that's what you have to finally do at this point. They know that there's a killer problem and there's a thing coming on, but I know there was definitely talk of that maybe it was a group of people because what Frank Salerno was saying, the big thing is that everyone was fighting him, being like, "There's no way this is one dude."
Yeah,
everyone, all the police officers,
they
were
would
convinced.
laugh at him.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. He's doing everything a little bit different.
He's
each
crazy,
time.
and he's also flagrant and crazy and brazen. He's nuts, and so it's like so finally he was like, "No, it's one guy. We're gonna find the one dude," and he put all the evidence together, and then. That press conference is terrifying.
Was this before or after Manson? Was Manson before?
This is way after
Manson, right? So we're talking late 70s, 80s here,
This was 25 years. This is 1985.
85. Okay, so maybe into the notion that it must have been multiple people, a cult like situation.
The satanic imagery, all the pentagrams, does point to some sort of cult involvement.
They think.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was trying anything. But at this point, they put out a whole shitload. Every single wall in Los Angeles was covered with
This description.
This sketch of
And
Richard
how accurate
Ramirez.
was the sketch? Because I'll tell you,
Like, pretty
sometimes you see.
accurate.
Remember, there was a situation here in New York City where there was a man going around killing people in the delis, and remember they dubbed him the duffel bag killer.
Yeah,
and
John Doe duffel bag.
John Doe duffel bag, and the sketch they had of him looked like Jay-Z. And the man was an Italian with a mustache and a huge nose with a receding hairline.
Well, no one wants to believe that Mario is going to be committing these horrible crimes.
Exactly. I mean,
Well,
was the sketch mildly accurate at least?
If we're gonna post this up on the page, apparently Lou Reed killed.
He looks exactly like Lou Reed. Somebody was just listening to a Lou Reed album.
But actually, the eyes. It's the penetrating
Yes.
eyes, his fucking wavy, beautiful hair.
It's not as bad as the Joe Duffelbag character.
It's not as bad, but yeah, that's and he's much older in the picture than Richard Ramirez actually was. Richard Ramirez 25 when all this was going on.
Oh man, what have I done with my life, huh? 32 years old.
We haven't murdered anybody, so,
Let's call that a plus.
Oh, that's good.
That's a
good.
positive. That's something you can put in your win column.
Thank you, Marcus.
You're welcome,
I really
Ben.
appreciate that. Rarely do
Never
I-
succumbed to my demons.
All right, so Night Stalker is bored. Night
Yeah.
Stalker is out there.
Night Stalker is out there, and since LA is in such a panic, he has to leave town. Because he's not going to stop killing, but
where
he
does-
is smart enough to know that he can't do it in Los Angeles anymore.
Sure.
He drives up to San Francisco.
Get a Frisco Bay, baby. You got to go there, and the girls. It's a beautiful town. Go down to Haight-Ashbury, man. Drop some acid. Learn about yourself.
Look at the walruses. There's a lot of walruses there.
And he,
Seals.
What?
They're seals.
Really?
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah, great. Yeah, the seals are awesome. They hang out around Alcatraz. You ever been to San Francisco?
Alcatraz. See, if I was a prisoner, I'd be like, we got to start riding some of these seals. Hey, you
And that
guys,
was
look
Henry
right
the-
out their window. They got horses out in the ocean right there when we need them. All we got to do is stab a pencil in their neck, and we hold it like it's two holsters.
That's a good idea.
I'll get us out of Alcatraz.
And that
You
was
know,
the most
me then just like
retarded prisoner.
floating dead and
Yeah.
fucking being played with my dead body tossed back and forth by seals.
I do like the imagery. I do like that.
He killed Peter Pan.
Okay, well, explain that. Richard Ramirez killed Peter Pan.
He killed a 66
In San Francisco.
He killed a 66-year-old Asian man named Peter Pan.
Oh, yeah. You see, the problem is that no one was there to clap and like bring him back to life.
Yeah.
know?
Pixie dust and things like that
That's a
probably
rough
would have
name.
helped him.
If a kid's last name's Pan, why call him Peter Pan?
I mean,
Why call him like the
immigrant-
last name like McDonald? And then
Ronald.
you were like, you want to be like, oh, we should name him after our Joseph, our grandfather, but we got to name him Ronald. Fuck this kid.
Yeah, Ronald McDonald. No one's going to make fun of him.
Yeah, this kid's done. I'm so
Yeah.
glad. Already, you don't have to worry about this kid.
During my research, I found this great article that was written in like such cheesy true crime style. And there's this one excerpt that I'd like to read from it right now describing the Peter Pan murder.
Yes,
Fantastic.
Of course, Satan was guiding his every move. He knew that. Why fret about getting caught? All these homes. And yet not once had the resident heard him entering. The devil silenced their ears while they slept. And he, Richard Ramirez, then took it a step further. He silenced them forever. More blood to feed hell, to keep its furnaces burning. Inside the house, Ramirez looked at his watch. Midnight. A good time to kill.
This is the Motley Crue bio.